A teenager laughing during sentencing? That wasn't just disrespect. It was a test of patience, of empathy, of principle. He could have yelled, he could have punished. Instead, he waited. Because silence, to Judge Caprio, was a mirror. And when people looked long enough, they usually saw their truth. Who was that boy anyway? His name was Jason Miller, 17, reckless driving, disorderly conduct. On paper, another troublemaker. In reality, a kid hiding behind chaos. Jason lived with his single mother, Angela, in a small apartment at the edge of town. His father left when he was 8. Since then, life had been one long climb. Bills, arguments, loneliness. Jason was smart, funny, but behind the humor, there was hurt. When life got too heavy, laughter became his armor. If he could laugh, he didn't have to cry. If he looked careless, no one could see how much he cared. That's why, on the morning of his hearing, when fear clawed at his throat, he did the only thing he knew. He laughed. But no one in that courtroom saw fear. They saw arrogance. The prosecutor's voice cut through the tension. "Your Honor, clearly this young man doesn't take the court seriously." Murmurs, judgment, the sound of whispers thick with assumption. Jason's mother wept quietly in her seat. "Please, Your Honor, he didn't mean it." But Caprio said nothing. He simply watched. Every second of silence felt like an hour. Finally, he spoke. "Jason, why are you here?" The boy shrugged. "Because I messed up, I guess." "You guess?" Caprio's tone was soft, but the weight of it pressed on every wall. "You guess you endangered lives? You guess you disrespected this court?" Jason fidgeted. I didn't mean to. It was just a mistake." Caprio tilted his head. "You think laughter makes mistakes disappear?" Jason said nothing. The courtroom held its breath. Then Caprio leaned forward. "Stand up, Jason." The boy obeyed. The judge studied him carefully. "Do you think you're a bad person?" Jason hesitated. "No, sir." "Then why act like one?" That question cracked something invisible. Jason blinked, unsure how to answer. Caprio lowered his voice. "You laughed because you're scared, didn't you?" Jason looked up, startled. The judge's tone wasn't accusatory. It was understanding. "Sometimes people laugh when they don't know what else to do," Caprio continued. The boy nodded, barely audible. "Yeah." "What are you afraid of, son?" Jason swallowed. Then the truth spilled out. "I'm tired," he said softly. "Tired of pretending everything's fine. Tired of people thinking I'm a joke." His mother sobbed silently. Even the prosecutor looked away. "I didn't mean to disrespect you," Jason continued, voice trembling. I didn't know what else to do. My mom works every night. We don't have much. I just wanted to feel like something mattered." Caprio removed his glasses slowly, breathing in deeply. "You don't need to hide behind laughter. You need to learn how to stand behind truth." Jason nodded, tears falling. Then, in a tone soft yet commanding, Caprio said the words that changed everything. "Life will test you, Jason. It will humiliate you. It will knock you down and ask, do you still believe you're worth something? And when that happens, remember this day. You are not your mistakes. You are the choices you make after them." The boy broke down. "I just want to do better." "Good," said Caprio. "That's where it starts." He turned to the room. "Justice isn't about punishment," he said. "It's about helping people stand again, Because if the law forgets compassion, it stops being justice at all. The gavel still rested in his hand, but it wasn't raised yet. This story wasn't over. Caprio looked at Jason one last time. "Jason Miller," he began, "you've admitted your mistake. You've accepted responsibility. That's the hardest part of growing up. Now comes the lesson." The boy tensed. The courtroom leaned in. "In most cases, I'd impose a fine or community service, but something tells me you don't need another punishment, you need a purpose." A soft murmur rippled through the room. "So here's what we'll do," Caprio continued. "The fine is suspended. Instead, you'll spend 40 hours volunteering, anywhere you can make someone else's day better. A soup kitchen, a shelter, a school. You choose. And when you're done, you come back here and tell me what you learned." Jason's voice trembled. You're giving me another chance?" Caprio nodded. "Not giving, trusting. There's a difference." Jason blinked hard. "Thank you, Your Honor. I won't waste it." "See that you don't," Caprio replied. "Mercy isn't a free pass, it's a responsibility." The gavel came down softly. Not an ending, a beginning. As Jason turned to leave, he glanced back at the man who had seen past his laughter and found the human being underneath. That moment didn't feel like a verdict, it felt like redemption. When Jason walked out of that courtroom, he wasn't the same kid who walked in. Something in him had changed. Judge Caprio hadn't just spared him, he'd awakened him. Because mercy, when given at the right moment, doesn't just forgive, it transforms. Friends, how often do we rush to judge someone by a single moment? A laugh, a word, a mistake? We forget that behind every action, there's a story we haven't heard yet. Caprio reminds us, compassion isn't weakness, it's strength. Weeks later, Jason returned. This time, he didn't laugh. He smiled, genuinely. He told the judge about the people he met, the meals he served, the small kindnesses he'd learned to give. Caprio listened quietly, then said only one thing. "Keep doing that. Make good your habit." And that's the legacy of Frank Caprio. He doesn't just enforce laws, he enforces hope. Maybe that's why millions cry watching his cases, because deep down we all long to be seen the way he sees others. So friends, if this story touched your heart, share it. Let someone who's losing faith hear it. And tell us in the comments, what do you think justice should look like? Cold and strict, or warm and human? Because sometimes the smallest act of understanding can rewrite someone's future. It did for Jason. It could for someone you know too. And in the next story, another case will test that same belief. A mother standing before Judge Caprio, accused of something she did out of love. You won't believe what happens next.